they're going to want something to do, to sort of validate what they're entertaining, which to me is the reliance on the problem. So you're relying on the mental state to affirm that you're awake or you're clear or this and that. It's going to say whatever it wants to say at any time, and it will change in an hour. So they figure if they have a big enough resume, it will be convincing. Not convincing, but convincing to their mental state. There's no point in that to me. If something hits you, that's it. It's the end of the story. Now, the mind, it's like the mind's ability to entertain is unbelievable. Some people, though, cannot entertain what they haven't heard. The mind cannot entertain what it hasn't heard for some of us. So you have to hear it from some outside source, like a meeting like this, or maybe you'll have an epiphany and something will download in you. And then the seed is implanted, and the mind's there. It can germinate whatever it entertains. And then suddenly the message starts taking shape in you and starts actually translating into an effect. In other words, you start traveling lighter. So it's not like an understanding, just like I have an understanding what to do when I'm sick. But when I'm sick, I never remember that understanding. I never remember to take that Chinese formula for the bronchitis or echinacea, anything like that. I have to be reminded. So when I most need the information, I can't seem to access it. That's what happens a lot with messages. You have the message, and you can get it if you're like in a retreat or a conditional situation, like an incubator, and everything will go well there. But as soon as you leave the incubator, you seem to lose it, because there was the feeling that you got it or you achieved it, and this mind that thinks it can achieve something thinks on the other side of the coin that it can lose something. This is not the message. The message isn't something that you acquire that now you have to be vigilant about or you're going to lose it. No, it's something that you are already. So it has nothing to do with having and losing, and it has nothing to do with doing and having. It has nothing to do with a whole lot of stuff. Now, what occurs is people hear the message and it excites them, but after a few weeks or a few months, they get bored because people aren't recognizing them as a spiritual giant. It's not mentally relevant to them. So it's a very ordinary condition being awake. Very ordinary. Very extremely ordinary, like dog shit awareness ordinary. But it's just an awakeness to being awake. You're already inherently awake, and then you're awake to that. Now, all your ideas of how everything was going to change is usually proven to be false, because nothing has to change at all, because inherently nothing's actually real. If you ever read Buddhism, when they talk about one of the main principles, which is emptiness, what do you believe that means when they say everything is inherently empty? What do they mean? Everything is inherently empty. Well, it means everything is inherently empty of its own existence. It has no existence other than the one who's observing it. Something that appears cannot be. It can only appear to something. So it's appearing to us. So it gets to a point, I come out of recovery, and in recovery they talk about an acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real. And it's really, really true in a sense, because there'll be false evidence in one's head, like, I'm going to be fucked, like tomorrow. And yet it's not factual, because first of all, you're not even at tomorrow yet. But if the head believes it, it provokes the physiological effects of fear. Yet there is no apparent threat. It was made up, So the threat becomes serious, not because of a threat, but by you believing it. So false evidence appears real is determined by the thing. It has to appear real to something. That's our role. Something is either appearing real to us or it isn't appearing real to us. Like, or the Course in Miracles would say in Lesson 2, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. That's what's happening here. So if something has a real sense of being real, it's not getting it from itself. It's being lent to it by what is real, us, by our believing it. Yeah? So we transfer meaning to something that has no inherent meaning at all, and then that meaning has the ability to bite us in our fictional ass, so to speak. Yeah? This is what happens. This is the situation of every day. We're in a dream, and we're the act of dreaming of it. It's not like we were dropped in a dream. There's an object called a dream, and then something, for some reason, took us on a mystical crane and dropped us in, and now we're in a dream fighting all this stuff. No, we're dreaming now. We're dreaming. Mind is dreaming right now. Yeah? Mind is dreaming. How do I don't believe that. Well, do you have a subjective experience? Do you come in this, and this is an event, yeah? This is an event, and there's many of us here, and as Lord Buddha supposedly said, events happen, deeds are being done, but there's no individual doer thereof. Yeah? So here's an event. Everyone here is going to have a different experience of the same event. You may hate me, some people may really like me. Yeah? So the same you is here, but the meaning you're going to have about this you can be totally different than the next person. And what is there anything about me that will be able to override your take on me? No. In other words, I'm defined by you as an object. You're experiencing me as an object right now, and you're going to define this object by how you see it. You don't see that as dreaming? You don't see that something today bothers you really badly? Let's say you're in bad shape today, and so this bothers you really badly. Next day, you're in good shape. It doesn't bother you at all. Next day, you're in bad shape. It really bothers you. Does it have the ability to bother or not to bother, or neither? It's whatever meaning I give it. Yeah. This is never going to override this. That's why people can outshine circumstances and situations. 20 people can have heinous, sexual, violent events when they're kids, and if you followed those 20 people's lives, they all would probably be different, how they responded to that event. They would outshine that event. The most heinous event you can come up with, the mind outshines it, because we give it the meaning it's going to have. Yeah? So let's say if mind, big M mind, has given this a meaning already, yeah, or not the big M mind, the small M mind, and it's crowned this you to be special than all these other yous, yeah. And how can you tell? Well, when you say something about this you, when I say something about you, that you, I go Z. When I say something about this you, I go me, yeah. So everyone here sees this as a you. But I beg to differ with you. I don't see this as a you. Even though if we took a vote, you would all say, you're a you, and you're never going to call me, ever. You're always going to see me as a you. But I will deflect that and say it's me. What the hell is this me? Yeah? You're basically denying that you're a you, then what the fuck is the me? Yeah? Is it like a special you? I would think so. It's a special you that it's a very special you. That special you now, instead of, see here, right now, let's call spirit I, yeah? So there's I. There's just one eye looking out of every one of our heads, yeah? So the I is what's seeing. So it's basically the same non-ness or non-thing that's seeing right now through all these different yous, yeah? So there's the I, you. So when the eye's looking from here, I see all these yous. When the eye looks from there, this is a you. Yeah? But every one of us here, the mental state has crowned this you as a special you, an incredibly special you. You're not going to find more than one me in your life. Yeah? You're never going to run into a me ever. You're it. So the I now, that is the oneness, that is what we all are, now gets claimed as a me, like a little hybrid of spirit with the body. So the body now becomes the thing that's doing spirit. So now I'm conscious. I'm the one who's conscious. I totally forget the I, and that I is totally blocked. I can't seem to access it because every time I look back to see what I am, I run into the billboard of me. Yeah? And it's such a habit that I just keep going from all of this, all my experiences, and then bringing it all back, not to the I, but to the me. Yeah? It's like, you know how insane this is? First of all, you have so much juice, so much power, to have all that power magnified on a body, one body, and following every thought the brain of this one body is producing, and calling them yours the whole fucking day, every feeling passing through the sentient experience, yet every feeling is preceded by feeler, I'm the feeler. All of this damn claiming, you bit off more than you can chew. You've got a huge amount of attention that should be dispersed and open, fixated on a mental freaking idea. And the poor body suffers the weight of being the center of the fucking universe when it's just like a Toyota. Just wants it, runs here, pisses, shits, But no, this is me. You don't know fucking how important this is. This is me. And you cannot have my thoughts. These are my thoughts. I don't care. I have no connection to you, basically. Unless you have something I want, So this whole idea of, it's just a mistake the mental state makes. Yeah? The mental process realizes the I am, recognizes it, and then gives it a name. I am me. Yeah? And everyone, no, Paul, you. No, I beg to differ with you. You're not talking to a you. You're talking to me, bro. I play by different rules, And then you think, oh, no, well, that's... So let's say here, this is how it does it. You want to follow. It's good to find out. See how the mind's producing its effects. Yeah? See how it. So here, the first movement of selfing, and this is this process I speak about, it's totally encompassed in the mental state. It's not in the elbow. It's not in spirit. It's a mental process called selfing. And what it is the act, it's an action, a mental action, the act of being identified as a self, a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, yes? So the act of being identified. So some people think I'm saying, all right, there's the verb, act of being identified, and the noun is self. There is no noun. The verb, if listened to in a certain way, which is adoringly, with its activities, then the feeling of being a noun gets produced. Yes? So the selfing goes thought. No. Let's precede all thoughts with this word, my thought. Oh, now that's working. Now the thoughts seem to start revolving around this central idea. Let's see if we can apply it to feelings. Feelings coming and going. Oh, these are my feelings. That one's mine. And now you're stuck with now you have a giant train of feelings going around, choo-chooing around your little central station, through the mind. So it's funny because whatever you own owns you. So now you think you're the thinker, and the thoughts start owning your fucking life. Now you think you're the feeler, now the feelings start owning your life, yes? So that is the activity of being bonded, adhered to something, yes? Bonded to the idea of being a self. So here's the glue. Thoughts are used to be the glue. They're used to facilitate, but they're not the glue. The glue is the feeling of being your thoughts or being the thinker. The glue isn't the feelings. The feelings will be used to facilitate the bondage, but the real bondage is that the feeling of being a feeler. There's a sense that it implies that you were there before the feeling occurs, that you were there before the thought occurs. And so when the thought appears, it says, with its logic, I'm the thinker. Or when an action moves through the body, it looks around, I'm the actor. And if I can't pin it on me or you, I'll say God's the actor. God did this. Somehow it's going to be something is behind it all. There isn't a thing at all. If you follow Buddhism, everything is inherently empty. Voila! There's no thing that's real. The reality is no thing. The reality is not able to be seen, felt, tasted, touched, or smelled. The reality isn't a thing, therefore it doesn't come, nor does it go. It's so ever present, we don't notice it whatsoever. We don't. We're missing it. And the harder we look with these bifocals of self-centeredness, the harder we'll never freaking find it, because the eye, in a sense, can never turn around and see itself. So the eye of spirit can never turn around and see itself. It's just seeing. That's how you get to know it. You get to know it. You do not get to know it by seeing it. You get to know by seeing. Yeah? By the verb of being what it is, which is awake or consciousness or awareness, by that verb, there's an intimation of it. You don't picture it as a noun, you just get that intimation because you finally got a whiff of your own freaking presence. Instead of calling it something else like the truth, or it was never in my life and then I did something and I brought the truth into my life and now it's the biggest it's all a story. You are what you've been seeking. Not after 50 years of... It does not say, you are what you've been seeking, period, after 50 years of searching, after 80 years of purification, after... No, it says, you are what you're looking for. Yeah? Why are we missing it? Because our conditional mind is trained to see things. So we want to see it as a thing, and you know what? It's appearing all over the fucking place as a thing, and we're not recognizing it. I mean, it's just like, you know, something had the greatest hiding place would be right underneath our nose. Yeah, totally out in the open is the greatest hiding place. We think it's got to be so special. We're walking in it. We're smelling. We're walking. It's like the fish never realizing it's wet, you know, because it's always been wet. It could go to such an extreme. The fish could believe it's dry and start reading books about how to get wet. You know what I mean? It would say, "Oh fuck, I don't want this wetness as always. I wanted it as an experience. It's like the ocean and the wave we used to always talk about." You know, there's a sense of waveness. Waves appear, which is all this, yeah? And yet, let's say the mental state gets identified as the wave. And it can get so identified as the wave, it can be totally shut off from the fact that it's ocean. And it will get the double whammy where now the wave will start looking for the ocean. It's insane. The wave will start looking for the ocean. And because it's ocean identified as waves, it can never get the ocean. So what it looks for is an experience of the ocean, or an understanding of the ocean, or reading thousands of scriptures about past ocean. But the fact is, it's reluctant and very stubborn to give up the waveness. So its inherent nature has to be an experience that it's going to seek for or search for. And most of the searching will be based on not finding. So its stubborn identification as the wave will preclude it from ever being fucking wet. Unless it gets wet on its own terms, which is very, very limited in time. Oh yeah, I had an experience of the ocean, and so I can tell everyone. Mine was a bigger experience than you. If you realize you're not the wave, what are you? And how long did it take to become what you already are? No time whatsoever. That is the message. It's not of time. It's not of process. It's not of close and far, connected, disconnected, high and low. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's your inherent state that's being overlooked because you're looking at it from a mental state. It's like a dimension that we're totally right next to, but we're not picking it up. Because we're basically figuratively and literally up the ass of self. So we need a divine proctologist, and there's plenty of them, but they'll never guarantee you'll stay out of the ass of self. You may get pulled out for a weekend. So then what will you do? Well, I'll sign up for the week-long getting pulled out. It's just fucking insane. When you finally seem to get out of it, the biggest hit of all was you were never in it. You were never in what you've been trying to get out of. It wasn't because you didn't have the right plan or you didn't do enough. You can't escape from an imaginary place. It's impossible. You can't transcend an imaginary place. There's nowhere to go from where you're when you're at nowhere. You know? You can't find a special everywhere and everywhere. You know, I have been sick as a dog, tons of different emotional, mental, physical conditions. If I'm willing to entertain this possibility, it comes through. There's no requirements necessary other than the ones my mental state tries to put up. Yeah? I did these talks for 20-something years. I've been broke. I was waiting to hear if I had AIDS. I've had my fairy princess break up with me 5 minutes before I came in. I had been bad to someone a few hours ago. God forbid. That should exile me from ever being some conduit or fucking hose for the spirit. The hose, you don't have to be a pristine hose. If you're a hose, the water's coming through. Don't be so concerned about the preparation of the hose. Your shape is ready to receive. It comes through. You want that? It's going to come through in express. You know, you don't have to coax it. It's not even an inch away. Come, please, Spirit, let me coax you with a lot. Give me a fucking break. It's always available at all times with no requirement necessary. Just give up your opinions. And you don't even have to give up your opinions. Give up being the one who has the opinions. That's only one little imaginary rock you have to put down. You don't have to put down all thought. Just put down the thought of being the thinker. You don't have to put down all feelings. Just give up the idea of being the feeler of all those feelings, to being the thinker of all those thoughts, to being the doer of all the actions. To be the thinker of all the thoughts, the feeler of all the feelings, the hearing of all the hearing, all like that. That's what happens. And it's not even giving up. You just see, you just entertain. Maybe it's not so. Yeah? You just open up to the fact, hey, maybe it's not so, and maybe there'll be just a ringing bing, and that will be the unspoken yes for you. Yeah? Then you'll find, then the truth will be established as you, not in you. Because if it's in you, it can be out of you. But as you, yes? Now you stop looking for the truth because you're looking from it all day. You're not trying to get into the moment because you can't be out of the moment. And you're not trying to get out of what you can't be in, which is self. There is no long-lasting, independent, separate entity, the way your mind has constructed it. There is no mythical me. There's just I, use, and let's go. Yeah. The me is an intermediary that has no power whatsoever, except the power that we give it by becoming identified with its idea. And what is that? The doer, the haver, the thinker, the feeler. Yeah? The body. See it. You know? When you close your eyes, are you behind a cheekbone? Do you actually believe that I stop here and then this is like some no man's land and then you start right there? I mean, seriously, do you really? When you close your eyes, doesn't the thing just go off and don't you hear? I mean, there's not a band in there. You're not defined by a body. You know what I mean? You're what is that? Your glass runneth over. You're not, a little bit of spirit wasn't poured in, and you got to check it like oil on a car. Oh, I'm running low on spirit here. Fuck, I better go to the temple for a couple of days. If you like temples, go, but don't think something is giving you something that you not already have or are. Yeah. Maybe if you go to a temple, you rub up on something and something fires out. It's great. But don't believe the temple brought that about. Your mind brought it about. The mind brought it about. Because everything is brought about by mind. You cannot go and you cannot precede mind. All the thoughts that you thought you ever have been seen by mind, not by you. You're an afterthought. There's the seeing of a thought, and then there's a feeling that you're the thinker of it. But the feeling comes later. Consciousness is the first thing at the party. Conscious contact is happening. And a mental process develops afterward and claims to be the one who's conscious. But the mental process comes after the seeing, never before the seeing. Mental stuff, body stuff, all content. Mind, all context. Content, we're in the content, yes, as this, yet we're not of this, we're of the context. So something is behind the camera and it's not us. We're in front of the camera. I always go to that. A friend sent me a thing on a Monty Python skit, that British comedy thing. And we ripped on it, changed it totally. I liked what we did with it better. So they're in like some English garden and they're in the shrubs, but they're dressed like they're on the safari. And about 5 of them come out and they've run out of water and there's no food and they're dying. This is the skit. And then suddenly they realize, hey, someone's filming us. And then suddenly you see the film crew and they have sandwiches and water and then they get saved. But then they go, well, someone's filming us now. And then another, and it will go on ad infinitum. Yes? Wherever you think you stop, something can witness that. Now, and it doesn't run out of a location. Stop, witness. You are never going to get behind it. There's something that's seeing all of your shenanigans. You cannot, it's like a gunslinger that you can never beat because its gun's already out at all times. You're like, so it's like, I'm going to see what's looking. No, you can't. I'm going to move so fast, I'll spin myself out and see myself. It's not going to happen. What's looking is what you are looking for. What's looking right now is what you are looking for. Dog shit awareness, ordinary awareness, an incessant onness, always available at all times, doesn't play by the rules, doesn't erode, doesn't crescendo, doesn't move, never gets interrupted, always available at all times, right as you are. The mind, the mental condition finally gives up, and now it reflects that, and it has, and it mimics that. It mimics that, and some of its mimicking is it starts to know serenity and understand peace. Yeah, the agitation of the mental state, the constant stirring with the self is lost interest in, and now the mental state calms down and it reflects infinity. Yes, it's going to mimic whatever it's seeing, and so it mimics that. Instead of mimicking selfing, which is a form of incessant agitation. Because however you are right now, you're confronted with a couple of conditions you got to deal with. Physical, emotional, circumstantial, like finances, this and that, yes? And then even a spiritual condition. And the mental state believes that if it gets all of these conditions just right, then it will finally be okay. Yeah? So maybe you hit it. Maybe you hit the jackpot. Let's say on a Sunday morning, you're in a retreat. They release you. You just had a great vegan breakfast. You still have the loving gaze still in place, and everything fine, and everything's just great. But 9:02 comes. 9:01, you're totally blissed out. 9:02, you hear that your girlfriend was sleeping with someone that your friend this weekend while you were meditating, or something like that. So something starts getting agitated. Oh, fuck, again. And there goes my spiritual state. because it's based totally on these other states. Yeah? That's not a solution. That's slavery, because you're going to try to get all these volatile conditions that you depend on being okay to be okay, and they're very rarely ever going to line up. And if they do, they've got this huge wave of time that affects them. So you can get it all right at 9 o'clock, but then there's 9:01, 9:02, 9:03, and God forbid what you're going to be like in the afternoon. Fucking, you could be in hell. You know what I mean? 3 hours with your mind, you drop an alcoholic in heaven, it's hell in a day. You know, it can just make up a lot of shit quickly. So this is, okay, let that be as it is, yeah? Let's find what's reliable. You'll know it when you recognize it. And you'll rest there. And then, like Jesus says, you'll know the tree by its fruits. You can't see the tree because you're the fucking tree. You'll know the tree by its fruits. A good tree cannot bring forth bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bring forth good fruit. You'll know the tree by its fruits. Maybe you want to echo it with scriptures, and who cares? But you'll know. Your authority, your final authority, will know. And over the years, to me, it stabilizes to a condition here called traveling lighter. You know, I wished it was going to change everything. I would end up in a beach town in Australia, which I did for a few years, but forever. Surfing perfect days. It didn't do it that way. What it did is it allows me to travel lighter, whatever the geography of my life is as an action figure. You know, whatever this is going to run into in this little thing of time and space, I'll travel lighter through it. What more do you want? Get freed from the need to be liberated? Whew, what a break. You know? If you take this to be you, it's going to be an urban renewal project your whole fucking life. You're always going to find some fault somehow. It's like tinkering constantly with it, trying to just get it right. You can't get something that's not meant to be totally right. Find peace, but not in it, not through it, not for it, not by it, right? But from it. Yeah. That was one of the greatest gifts I got, freed from the need to be liberated. Jesus Christ. This head was so demanding. I've been seeking like so incredibly since I was about 4 or 5, trying to get out of my head. I did it with drugs, did it with sports, first fantasy. Edgar Allan Poe and old Jules Verne, tons of fantasy and horror books, then sports, then drugs and alcohol, then spirituality, then back to drugs and alcohol. Washed up on the shores of AA. They fucking put my manifest life in place, gave me some God rails, G-O-D rails, so I wouldn't fucking go flying off and go to the wrong rest stops all the time. Just keep on going on the highway. So that was taken care of. You know, I'm not killing people. I don't have to have hyper observance of my behavior. It's pretty simple now. So my mind was freed from the fetters of all the business at hand, so we can just entertain other possibilities. You know, and the possibility it tends to always entertain is its source. You know, just rest there. You have plenty of attention to spend on a day. It's difficult to have enough attention to spend on a 50-year world, which is what the mental state tries to present. Yesterday and tomorrow become so dominant in our mental state. So you have years and years to attend to just sitting in a room. You know? But in fact, the attention, you have plenty of it to deal with what's at hand. Yeah. And a lot of the attention can just rest in its source, and you'll be the better for it. And so will others around you. Without any thought or effort on your part, you can't help yourself. You're holding the space because you're more of space than you are of a body in now. Yeah? You start sensing a presence in the room, not everything that's in it, but the sense of the space. The sense of the space becomes very attractive to you, the space, you know. Yeah. So you feel that presence that they talk about. You sense a presence, and the presence is just of us, not as a body, but as what we are, which is the space. Yeah. You take on different orders then. Your head keeps trying to present life as it sees it, you know. Like for me, I was going to write a book, and it was going to be called Life Without Paul. It was not a great book. The first one would be Life with Paul, and then the good sequel would be Life Without Paul. Fucking great. Life Without Paul would be very short, like 2 pages, empty. Life with Paul, fuck, yep. They did it to me, fuck them. It's on and on and on and on and on. Tons of rationales, excuses, and blame all over the place. Life Without Paul, fucking an empty page, let the day write the story. Yeah, story comes, you have a story that day, it goes. A new story, a new story, a new story, every fucking day. Yeah. Yeah. You could never figure this out. You could never plan it. Because it doesn't go the way of the mental state. It's not linear. No fucking way is it linear. It doesn't make sense mostly. Yeah? When you try to apply your logic, your mental logic, it will not make sense. It doesn't have any opinion about you. You know? You're not a chosen one or a special dispensation. There's none of that at all. It's basically, in a sense, that you're totally absent, really. Yeah, that's the great relief. You remember when you were a kid, they'd always tell you there's a great party, but when you got there, it sucked. You know, every time, I had all these relationships. I was always 15 relationships, none of them work. What was the one constant in all of them? Me. Yes. Oh, wow. How can I be there to get it? How can I have it really good and still have me there? You can't pull it off. Yeah, it's inherent. It's your inherent absence is the presence. Yeah, that's when the presence that's always so is noticed, not by you, but by the absence of you. It becomes obvious, and the absence isn't like your body disappears. It's the interest and attention that's been wedded to that preoccupation of you all day gets freed. Yeah, so you lose interest in the self. You lose interest in what's making the self all day. You lose interest in it, and like we say in recovery, you'll gain interest in others, and you'll gain interest in a lot of other things, and a lot of no thing maybe, yeah, because the interest attention is now freed from that slavery, that bondage of self. So this is important to me. The freedom from the bondage of self doesn't come after the bondage of self. There is no bondage of self. There is just a presentation of it. It can't not be so. It cannot happen. It can only seem to be happening to us. Yeah? So we are complicit in the bondage. So therefore the freedom from the bondage isn't after the bondage, it's prior to the bondage. The recognition is nothing ever happened. Not that, I cleared all that shit up. Nothing ever happened. Yeah? This freedom is reliable because the freedom that comes after the bondage will usually lead you to a bondage. And then you'll need an urge or a seeking for a freedom, and then a bondage, a freedom. But the freedom prior to the bondage is a state. It's not a conditional reaction to another state. It's just in and of itself. Yeah? So when the solution dawns on you, it's obvious the problem is imaginary. When you seem to be up the ass of the problem, you really need a solution. But if you entertain the solution informs you the problem is imaginary. Then, therefore, at that moment, you don't even need a solution. That's how economical it is. Because if we had a solution, we could probably lose it. Yeah. So it takes that out of our hands. There's no fucking solution. You're that. And that's that. It's an invitation. This is all we do. Just invite you. I have faith in mind, incredible faith in mind. I have enough faith in mind that not get fooled by sickness, not get fooled by things not going well, not get fooled by any of that. Yeah? Just stay unswervingly in the realization, I'm not that. Yeah? Let that become your rock. Let that become your foundation. Then you'll abide there. You'll rest there while things are happening. Because whatever's happening is going to end. But what you are never has, never will. Yeah? So here, so if you and I give meaning to things, yes? So I can make something seem real that isn't real. By believing it, yeah? All right? And this is what's producing this whole movie all day. It's not like something you acquired, this ability. It's just been happening through you the whole time, right? You've been given meanings. Like when you were a kid, I give 12 plastic army men in a little patch in front of the apple tree like a giant World War II vignette, Your imagination can make things seem real as hell. So can you imagine taking that ability that's giving everything all the meaning it has and turning it on to what has all the meaning? Yeah. Can you imagine, all right, I match my ability to make things seem real with false evidence, and they can appear real. Can you imagine turning that on to real evidence? The impact in one's life? How many mountains have you made out of molehills? Can you imagine if you turn that ability onto what's actually truly so? There's not the thing, but let's just say, yeah? Turning it to that pointless point. See what happens. How relevant it can become in your life with no one fucking seeing it. Yeah? I gotta stop soon. It's hot here, is it? Mm-hmm. I'm at the point of dying. One or the other. That wouldn't be a weird way to go. Would be dead, die in satsang. Probably people would keep thinking I was in, deep meditation. They wouldn't leave. Can we go yet? He's in there. He's in that space. No, I'm dead. Sorry, touched me. Could have left earlier. But I always get the basket before I die. You ever make those donations? Finally see. Oh, okay. Not a bad way to go, eh? In satsang. Or something like this fell on your head. My last moment was wrestling with a 7-armed Ganesh when I passed away. It would sound great in a book, but no, I'll probably die at Kmart or something. Looking for battery-operated toothpaste or toothbrushes. But he passed away at the Colgate aisle. Fucking some walkover.
To stay in your bliss,
what?
To stay in your bliss, your observations and your conversations and everything takes you right out of it. It gets you right out of your own camera. You almost got to be empty.
Well, yeah. Well, you are.
Okay, so there's no goals, there's no ambitions, happiness and laughter. It's just a serenity. It's an existence.
Well, there's ambition, there's goals and ambitions, but they're not yours.
You just came out of yourself. Goals and ambitions are self-imposed.
Yeah, but the body keeps on going.
And so then you got to come back. It almost takes you out of where you want to be, out of your bliss, out of this state of joy, out of a place of love. You just left because I'm having a conversation with you. I'm in this room with everybody here. So I just left that space I had because I'm present with everyone else.
Oh, the mental space, you mean?
The mental space. Any kind of reaction I have. Any kind of reaction I have, I'm trying to get out there on the floor. I want the camera on me. I want to be that. Not on me, but I want to look from that angle.
Yeah.
With everyone else.
Yeah. And you are.
I'm seeing I want to be that guy. Over there. But as soon as I exchange, as soon as we interact, as soon as I have observations, feelings, appetites, desires, anything, what's real? When do I just left this place? How do I come back? How do you stay there? How do you stay in the place you're talking about?
And have experiences.
And have experiences, desires, anything. These are questions. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate. It seems there'd be voids and there'd be empty. And there'd be, or maybe this is my mind telling me this as you self-explained to me already.
Yes.
So I
would go with that.
All right. I can see where you're going. So I want to be empty.
But who says? See, the thing is, Who says you're not empty?
Who said
That-
I don't
that-
want to be?
that
I'm
which
just
is
trying
full
to
of
figure this
itself.
out. I can see how you fall out of the place you're at and have to reform
But
that
see,
and
for the fallout, you'd have to be there. You'd have to be at that place, and there's
Exactly.
no place to be at.
You're
Well,
always in that place.
Well, then
It's
because
always
it's
there.
not a
Experience
place.
you're having.
it's always there.
The thing is it's kind of crazy, but it's like you don't take yourself seriously at all. It's like every experience. Right.
Yeah.
So like if you're arguing with someone at work, who's arguing? Like I have to say to myself when I'm in a conflict at work with someone, who's trying to prove this point here? Okay,
Why are
it's
you
happening,
valuing their opinion? Or
and
why
it's
is
still
it
happening,
upsetting
and
you?
sometimes it just keeps happening, and I
Yeah.
can't stop it, and then it's like, well, whatever, that went down.
Yeah.
It had to show itself, so it did.
Yeah, I couldn't overcome it. I don't know why I couldn't apply this to
But
it.
that's okay.
Yeah, no, I
And
can see
sometimes
that.
I'm like, okay, well, that was just something that had to happen here. And then sometimes I need to apologize or not, or
Move on. Just
Yeah.
get out of there. Yeah, no, I can see it. I'm just trying to figure out
Well, the thing is- the thing is, it's
where
like-
you want to be.
The
You're
thing
not
with
that
an upset, there's upsets, yeah, but then there's the interpretation. It's upsetting to me. See, that's
Right.
what gets lost, not the upsets. Your action figure is going to react to stimuli in its own conditional way. Why are we so beholden to it? So we believe its action is my action. So the upset is my upset. That's the act of being bonded to self. That's what I'm talking about all night. Yeah? In other words, so let's say you're in that spacious space. Yeah? The mental state, it can't totally deny it, so what it does is claims it. So then it says you are in that space, and the you that was in that space is also you that can easily get out of that space. Yeah? So in other words, it negates its everywhere allness at all times by making it special. As soon as the you gets involved in it, it can come and go. Yeah? And you're leaving the space and getting into the space suddenly appears to have a lot to do with you. Doing something to get into the space, and then I did something to get out of the space. Yes? I run into this so many times at these talks where the people are still putting their bet on the mental idea. And so they want the mental idea. See, what comes and goes isn't what you are. What comes and goes is what you think you are. Yeah? What you're thinking you are has the quality of coming and going, of being convinced and unconvinced, of feeling really connected and then unconnected. Yeah? You're neither of those movements. You're the seeing of it. So you're the seeing of the feeling that's just arose and the mental state turns it into. That's implying I'm disconnected. You see it. And then another thing you see is, oh, everything's going well. Oh, I'm feeling so connected. You see that also. Yeah? Now, if you look at the disconnected from self-centeredness, you either don't want that and you want the connectedness, so there's aversion to that, and then there's a desire to go another way. That's the selfing. Yeah? But if you see it, you're not buying. See, I'm not in a place, so I never experience getting kicked out of the place. Because I don't think there is a place I'm in. You see? I don't lose it because I've never had it. I didn't blow it in time because the quality of it is timeless. Yeah? So I can't I can't through time kick myself out of timelessness. It's just that we're pledging allegiance to the mental interpretation and the mental dream instead of just having faith in the overall context of everything. So there's upsets and there's predilections. Why do they imply that they're mine? Why buy that? Why buy that allegiance to every fucking feeling that goes by that they're my feelings? You're going to be going hither and thither all the time. Because things can change in 1 minute. You can feel great, next minute you feel shitty. How could you pack everything up and leave greatness so fast and end up in shitty so quickly? This is mental movement. It's like a ball in a vat of water that moves one way or the other. So and I follow the ball. That's me. I want that me to be me. Let's keep that. No, oh shit! Something. No, I don't want that. Oh no. But all the while they're seeing of it. Even if you see just the tail of it, it still says the truth. You're seeing. Yeah, you're the seeing of everything. So when you describe with such great clarity how you feel, it's because the seeing was seeing it. Yeah? When some people are in deep depression, they wrote the most exquisite examples or description of what it was like. Yet they were totally in a dense place because the clarity of mind didn't go there. The clarity of mind just sees things as they are. Yeah? And you know what? They're not. The clarity of mind sees things exactly as they are, and you know what? They're not. And after a while, not. It always comes back to right where you believe you are. Yeah? The seeing is supreme. Nothing comes before the seeing. If I take a sound and I go back as far as I can go, and then I hear the sounds that are going on in the space that my awareness is in, yeah, I can go as far, and so if I hear a car go by, it's a layer, and the bottom layer is this vibrational hum all the time that's going on. And yet there's not another sound, and yet what's hearing it can't be heard. Do you know what I mean? What's hearing the sound can't be heard. I take it as far back as I can, and I've gone as far as I can, and yet there's still something seeing it or hearing it. Yeah? So I got to the last sound of sounds, and yet what's hearing that sound? That thing that's hearing it must be prior to the sound. Yeah? You're prior to every freaking thing. You're prior to every thought. You're prior to every feeling. You're prior to every action. You're prior to every impulse. You're prior to every desire. You're prior to everything. Follow the clues. Go back. Be your own laboratory. Yeah? You will come to a point where you got to put the ball down. There's just seeing. And maybe you'll come to a conclusion one day, maybe at your deathbed, maybe earlier. I hope that's me. That's what I am. Not the body, not the thoughts about me as a body, but that which has been seeing this whole time. Give credit where it's credit due and see what returns occur. Maybe you will know serenity and understand peace. Maybe you'll have that feeling of spaciousness. No matter how bad you're feeling physically or this and that, you'll still be awake and open. Yeah. You can outshine every freaking situation because you precede them all. You is the dreaming of the dream. You and I are the dreamer of the dream.
Good and bad.
We forgot that we're dreaming this dream, and by the forgetfulness, we've given everything we dreamt the power to affect us. So the dreamt tiger can only scare you when you take yourself to be a dreamt object. If you woke up out of this idea of being a something, then that fake tiger would have no threat to you. Yeah? Instead of trying to read books on how to cohabitate a small space with a tiger, or, if I give it 2 pounds of chicken every day, it won't eat me. There'll always be that anxiety of something could happen. But if you wake up, not from the dreamt tiger, but from the dreamt object, then the dreamt tiger doesn't have a reality because your mind has stopped giving it one. Yes? If something can seem as real can be, it has to be lent that reality by what's real. Yeah? And that's what's happening here all day. Things are appearing to be true or false to us all day based on our condition. Not on their conditions, but on our condition. Figure it out. I'm more influential than anything else here. Not as Paul, but as what I am. I am the most influential event right now. Without me, there would be none of these yous right now. Not one. Yeah? Without me, without this, nothing would happen. Yeah? Yet why do we keep giving so much credence to what's happening to lord it over us when we precede everything? Man, all right, I gotta end. I'm speaking hot here. Any questions? No. Good.